हेलो स्टूडेंट, माई सेल्फ नरेंद्र कुमार फ्रॉम विद्यामंदिर क्लासेस। तो ये मैं एनवायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ आपके साथ। तो ये पार्ट 2 है इसका। पार्ट 1 में आपने देखा होगा कि एयर पोल्यूशन के बारे में हमने डिस्कशन किया था। तो 3 मेजर पार्ट है एयर एनवायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री स्टडी करने के लिए, एयर पोल्यूशन, वाटर पोल्यूशन एंड सॉइल पोल्यूशन। तो इस पार्ट के अंदर जो है वाटर पोल्यूशन और फिर उसके बाद में हम सॉइल पोल्यूशन जो है वो करेंगे। बड़ा इजी सा टॉपिक है, जस्ट मतलब एक टाइप से सेल्फ स्टडी है, लेकिन फिर भी जस्ट क्विक रिवीजन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से एक प्रेजेंटेशन के थ्रू मैं ये डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ आपके साथ। तो देखिए आप अपनी स्क्रीन को, तो आपको वाटर पॉल्यूशन जो हमारा केमिस्ट्री का क्लास 11th का एक टॉपिक है, इसमें से कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स में क्वेश्चन आती है, स्कूल में भी क्वेश्चन आते ही होंगे। सो यू नो दैट वाटर इज एसेंशियल फॉर लाइफ. Pollution of water originate from human activities. There are various type of human activities are responsible for pollution of water. Through different paths, pollution reaches surface or groundwater. Easily identified source or place of pollution is called as point source for the pollution. Municipal and industrial discharge pipes where pollutants enter the water source is the first point source. Non-point sources of pollution are those where a source of pollution cannot be easily identified, like agricultural waste, domestic waste, etc. Just for comparison point of view, let's see, there are the various pollutants and their source. So microorganism originates from domestic sewage. Organic waste, domestic sewage, animal excreta and waste, decaying animals and plants discharged from food processing factories are the main sources of organic waste. Plant nutrients, chemical fertilizers are the main source of plant nutrient type pollutants like phosphate. Toxic heavy metals, the source of toxic heavy metals pollutants is industries and chemical factories. Sediments type pollutants, particulate matters, erosion of soil by agriculture and strip mining, pesticides, chemicals used for killing insects, fungi and weeds. Radioactive substances, mining of uranium containing minerals is the main source of radioactive pollutants, radioactive substances. Heat, again a part of pollution. Water used for cooling in industries is the source of pollutant. Now, next we have to discuss the causes of water pollution. What are the various causes of water pollution? You know that pathogen is one of the important cause of water pollution. So the most serious water pollutants are the disease causing agents called pathogens. Organic waste is the another cause of water pollution. So the other major water pollutant is organic matter such as leaves, grass, straws, etc. So excessive phytoplankton growth within water is also a cause of water pollution. These wastes are biodegradable. After some time, these wastes get decomposed, but again an important pollutants. Now, in this case, the very important concept, first of all, we have to understand what do you mean by dissolved oxygen and what is the value of dissolved oxygen in water. The amount of oxygen that water can hold in the solution is called dissolved oxygen. You know that solubility of gases in water or in any other liquid depends on temperature and pressure. It's not easy to dissolve a gas because of its lighter nature. Some of the gases which are highly reacts with water are highly soluble in water, but oxygen is a gas which do not react with water, just get dissolved. So you know that solubility of gases can be enhanced by increasing pressure of the gas or decreasing temperature. So under atmospheric condition, a certain amount of oxygen can get dissolved in water, not large quantity of oxygen remain dissolved in water. So the amount of dissolved oxygen in water is limited. In cold water, dissolved oxygen can reach a concentration up to 10 ppm, whereas oxygen in air is about 200,000 ppm. So a very limited amount of oxygen is available in water as a dissolved oxygen. The large population of bacteria decomposes organic matter present in water, like phytoplankton are responsible for the decomposition or decomposition of organic waste. As I told you, organic waste is biodegradable, so they get degraded by the bacteria which grow on organic matter, but these bacteria consume oxygen dissolved in water. So that's why even a moderate amount of organic matter, when decomposed in water, can deplete the water of its dissolved oxygen. The amount of dissolved oxygen will get decreased due to the presence of organic waste in water. The concentration of dissolved oxygen in water is very important also for aquatic life. If the concentration of dissolved oxygen of water is below 6 ppm due to the organic waste present in water, and that organic waste will get decomposed by bacteria, and that bacteria will deplete the water of its dissolved oxygen. So if the concentration of dissolved oxygen in water is below 6 ppm, the growth of fish gets inhibited. So it's very difficult for the fishes to grow in such type of water. The dissolved oxygen is also used for microorganisms to oxidize organic matter. So if there is a large amount of organic waste is present in water, then water will be deficient in dissolved oxygen. If too much of organic matter is added to water, all the available oxygen is used up. This causes oxygen dependent aquatic life to die. Anaerobic bacteria, the bacteria which do not require oxygen, begin to break down the organic waste and produce chemicals that have a foul smell and are harmful to human health. This is the result if dissolved oxygen is very less. Now aerobic, that is the bacteria which require oxygen, degrades these organic waste and keep the water depletion in dissolved oxygen. So both type of bacteria are not harmful, aerobic as well as anaerobic. Now there is another important concept called as biochemical oxygen demand besides dissolved oxygen. So biochemical oxygen demand is the amount of oxygen required by bacteria to break down the organic matter present in a certain volume of a sample of water is called as biochemical oxygen demand. Now the amount of BOD in water is a measure of the amount of organic material in the water in terms of how much oxygen will be required to break it down biologically. So BOD is a measure of extent of water pollution in terms of organic material, organic waste, the measure of organic waste. Higher is the BOD, higher pollution, water pollution. Clean water would have BOD value of less than 5 ppm. Highly polluted water could have a BOD value of 17 ppm or more. Now, besides organic waste, let's come to the chemical pollutants. Water soluble inorganic chemicals that includes heavy metals such as cadmium, mercury, nickel, etc. constitute an important class of pollutants. These metals are dangerous to human because our body cannot excrete them. These metals then can damage kidneys, central nervous system, liver, etc. Acids from mine drainage and salts from many different sources including raw salt used to melt snow and ice in the colder climates, sodium and calcium chloride especially, are water soluble chemical pollutants. The organic chemicals are another group of substances that are found in polluted water. Petroleum products and the pesticides that drift down from sprays or runoff from land pollutes many sources of water. Various industrial chemicals like polychlorinated biphenyls, which are used as cleansing solvent, detergents and fertilizers, add to list of water pollutants. Polychlorinated biphenyls are suspected to be carcinogenic, so we have to check the water for the presence of polychlorinated biphenyls. There are the different type of structures for polychlorinated biphenyls depending on the positions of chlorine atom on these two phenyl rings. Now again an important phenomena related with the water pollution called as eutrophication. In this most of the most of the detergents used nowadays available are biodegradable. So it's a good thing, but besides this biodegradable nature of these detergents, there is another problem related with the use of these biodegradable detergents. Their use can create other problems, like the bacteria responsible for degrading biodegradable detergents feed on it and grow rapidly. While growing, these bacteria use up all the oxygen dissolved in water, so it depletes water in dissolved oxygen. The lack of oxygen kills all other forms of aquatic life such as fish and plants. Fertilizers contain phosphates as additives. The addition of phosphate in water enhances algae growth. This leads to anaerobic conditions, commonly with accumulation of obnoxious decay and animal death. Bloom-infested water inhibits the growth of other living organisms in the water body. This process, in which nutrient-enriched water bodies support a dense plant population, which kills animal life by depriving it of oxygen and results in subsequent loss of biodiversity, is known as eutrophication. So this is the phenomena related with the water pollution. Now let's move to the various other chemicals present in the water, and this is the related with the eutrophication. You can see during eutrophication this type of view of the water. Now, international standard for drinking water. In international standard for drinking water, we have to identify important part, that is the fluoridines. Fluoridines is essential for water life, but small amount is good for health, but a large amount of fluoridine is also harmful. The fluoridines make the enamel on teeth much harder by converting hydroxyapatite. Hydroxyapatite is a double salt of calcium. It's a calcium phosphate as well as calcium hydroxide. So this is the basically enamel, which is less harder. So when this enamel come in contact with fluoridine, it become fluoroapatite, which is again a calcium fluoride, 1 part calcium fluoride and 3 parts calcium phosphate. So fluoridines make the enamel on teeth much harder by converting hydroxyapatite, the enamel on the surface of the teeth, into much harder fluoroapatite. Deficiency of fluoride in drinking water is harmful to the man and causes disease such as tooth decay. Soluble fluorides is often added to drinking water to bring its concentration up to 1 ppm. So 1 ppm or 1 milligram per liter is a suitable quantity of fluoride that is responsible for hardening of enamel on teeth. So during hardening of enamel, what happens? The hydroxyapatite get dissolved in saliva, and that mix up with the fluoridine present in water, and that fluoridine again combined with the calcium phosphates to produce harder fluoroapatite. So fluoridine concentration above 2 ppm causes brown mottling of teeth, which is not good. Excess fluoride over 10 ppm causes harmful effects to bones and teeth. Next chemical that should be checked for its presence in water is lead. So the prescribed upper limit concentration of lead in drinking water is about 50 ppb, parts per billion. Lead can damage kidney, liver, reproductive system. So we should be aware about the lead poisoning. Next important chemical that should check its presence in water is sulfate. Excessive sulfate greater than 500 ppm in drinking water causes laxative effects. Next again nitrate. So maximum limit of nitrate in drinking water is 50 ppm. Too much amount of nitrate in drinking water may cause various other health hazards. Especially nitrate is an oxidizing substance. It may oxidize hemoglobin It may oxidize iron present in hemoglobin, as you have seen in Browning test. So excess nitrate in drinking water can cause disease such as methemoglobinemia. It's called as blue baby syndrome. During this disease, the color of body become bluish type. You can see the infants converts approximately double or 10% of ingested nitrate to nitrite compared to 5% converts in older children and adults. So infants are very, what we can say, sensitive towards nitrate poisoning. So harmful effect of nitrate in drinking water. So nitrite produced in the bloodstream is involved in the oxidation of hemoglobin to methemoglobin. The ferrous present in the heme group is oxidized to the ferric group, and the remaining nitrite binds firmly to this oxidized heme. The ferric form does not allow oxygen transporting owing to the strong binding of oxygen. So after conversion of hemoglobin to methemoglobin, the oxygen transporting capacity of blood decreases. So this is the nitrate toxicity. High nitrate forest in rumen converted to nitrite, and that converted to the ammonia, and excess of nitrite combined with hemoglobin of blood and causes methemoglobinemia. So you can see this is the structure of hemoglobin, and after combining with nitrite, it becomes methemoglobinemia. So there is an overall oxidation of ferrous to ferric during this process, and you can see this is the image showing nitrate poisoning. Other metals, the maximum concentration of some common metals recommended in drinking water are given in table. So you can see maximum concentration of iron is 2 ppm, and that of manganese is 0.05 ppm, and that for aluminum it is 0.2 ppm, for copper it is 3 ppm, for zinc it is 5 ppm. Maximum concentration of metal that is allowed in drinking water is for zinc. For cadmium it is 0.005 ppm. So do not dump waste into a household or industrial drain which can enter directly to any other water body such as river, pond, stream or lake to check water pollution. So it's our responsibility. Use compost instead of chemical fertilizer in gardens to prevent water pollution. Avoid the use of pesticides like DDT, malathion, etc. at home, and try to use dried neem leaves to help keep insect away. So these are some measures which can be used to avoid water pollution. This is the structural formula of DDT. DDT stands for dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. Dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. And this is the structural formula of malathion. Malathion is an organophosphate. It's a sulfur containing phosphorus, sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen containing organic compound. So it's an organophosphate. So these are little bit biodegradable except DDT. So next is the soil pollution. Now India, being an agriculture based economy, gives high priority to agriculture, fisheries and livestock development. The surplus production is stored by governmental and non-governmental organizations for the lean season. The food lost during the storage also needs special attention. Some insecticides and pesticides are used for protection of our crops. However, these insecticides, pesticides and herbicides cause soil pollution. Hence, there is need for their judicious use. Let's talk about pesticides. Pesticides are basically synthetic toxin chemicals with ecological repercussions. DDT was put to use in agriculture to control the damage caused by insects, rodents, weeds and various crop disease. However, due to the adverse effect, its use has been banned in India or all over the world. The repeated use of the same or similar pesticides give rise to pests that are resistant to that group of pesticides, thus making the pesticides ineffective. So repeated or similar pesticides will make pest resistance to this particular type of pesticides. As insect resistance of DDT increased, the other organic toxins such as eldrin and dieldrin were introduced in the market by pesticide industries to produce more pesticides. This is the structural formula of DDT, and this is the structural formula of eldrin. Aldrine and dialdrine both can be prepared by Diels-Alder reaction. So it's a very common reaction you study in hydrocarbon. It's a reaction of alkene with conjugated diene. So here you can see then we are treating a bicyclodiene with bicyclo non-conjugated diene with a conjugated diene. So first we will get aldrine, and this aldrine when treated with peroxocarboxylic acid get oxidized to produce dialdrine. So in response to high persistence of chlorinated organic toxins like DDT, aldrine, a new series of less persistent or more biodegradable products called organophosphates and carbamates have been introduced in the markets. But these chemicals are severe nerve toxins and hence more harmful to humans. So chlorpyrifos and malathion are basically organophosphates, and this carbamates is in compounds having C double bond O and alkoxy group and amino group. These days the pesticide industry has shifted its attention to herbicides such as sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is used as a herbicide and sodium arsenite as herbicides. Most herbicides are toxic to mammals but are not as persistent as organic chlorides. These chemicals decompose in a few months because these are not persistent. Like organochlorides, these too becomes concentrated in the food web. Some herbicides cause birth defects. So this is the human being is the on topmost level of the food web. So at each tropic level, the pollutants get 10 times concentrated. So last part is the green chemistry. The green chemistry deals with the prevention of pollution due to the use of chemicals. So green chemistry is a way of thinking and is about utilizing the existing knowledge and based on principle of chemistry and other sciences to reduce the adverse impact on environment. Green chemistry is a production process that would bring about minimum pollution or deterioration to the environment. So we have to minimize the pollutions by using chemistry. The byproducts generated during a process, if not used gainfully, add to the environmental pollution. Such processes are not only environmental unfriendly but also cost ineffective. So the waste generated and its disposal both are economically unsound. Utilization of existing knowledge base for reducing the chemical hazards along with the developmental activities is the foundation of green chemistry. There are a lot of examples of green chemistry in day-to-day life. For example, dry cleaning of clothes. Tetrachloroethene was earlier used as solvent for dry cleaning. Nowadays, the compounds and this tetrachloroethene contaminates the groundwater and is also a suspected carcinogen. The process using this compound is now being replaced by a new process where liquefied carbon dioxide with a suitable detergent is used. Replacement of halogenated solvent by liquid CO2 will result in less harm to groundwater. These days, hydrogen peroxide is also used for the purpose of bleaching clothes in the process of laundry, which gives better result and make use of lesser amount of water in laundry. Another example of green chemistry in day-to-day life is bleaching of paper. Chlorine gas was used earlier for bleaching paper. These days, hydrogen peroxide with suitable catalyst which promotes the bleaching action of hydrogen peroxide is used. Synthesis of chemicals through green chemistry is again an initiative of green chemistry. Ethanol is now commercially prepared by one-step oxidation of ethene in the presence of ionic catalyst in aqueous medium with a yield of 90%. This is the reaction which is used for the large-scale production of ethanol. It's a Wecker process. Green solution to clean turbid water. So we can also use some steps to clean turbid water instead of using alum and other things. Powder of kernel of tamarind seeds has been found to be an effective material to make municipal and industrial wastewater clean. It is non-toxic, biodegradable and cost-effective material. This powder is usually discarded as agricultural waste, not used. So, present practice to clean water is to use alum, but now we are proposing to use. It has been found that alum increases toxic ions in treated water and can cause disease. Like alum is aluminium, potassium aluminium sulfate, so it increases the amount of sulfate in water, it increases the amount of aluminium in water. So green chemistry utilizes the existing knowledge and practices so as to bring about reduction in the production of pollutants. So there are the various principles of green chemistry. The first principle of green chemistry is prevent waste. Second is maximize atom economy. Third is less hazardous chemical synthesis. Fourth is safer chemicals and products. Next, fifth is safer solvents and reaction conditions. Sixth is increase energy efficiency. Seventh is use renewable feedstocks. Eighth is avoid chemical derivatives. Protecting groups mostly are used. Use catalyst. Ninth. 10th principle is design chemicals and products to degrade after use. 11th principle is analyze in real time to prevent pollution. And 12th is minimize potential for accident. So it's about green chemistry. So it's in early stages. So it's all about environmental chemistry. So I completed this topic just for quick revision in two parts. In part one I discussed air pollution. In part two I discussed water pollution and soil pollution. Thank you very much.